Hey, hello and welcome to everyone for this first episode of Cloud Champions Club Hall of Fame. And I have got Ashwin with me. So thank you so much, Ashwin, for joining us. And let me quickly brief viewers about what this Hall of Fame is, guys. So in this is a community Cloud Champions Club where we learn about cloud computing things, and anyone who completes certification in AWS Cloud Practitioner or as a AWS Solution Architect Associate becomes eligible for a Hall of Fame. So either you crack certification or anyone who completes the course within this community and cracks a job opportunity. So this person becomes eligible for Hall of Fame. So welcome to the first episode. And while we have several champions, but this is the first episode where we have got Ashwin talking and sharing about his journey. So Ashwin joined quickly. Talking about Ashwin joined Cloud Champions Club on 1st August and completed his cloud champion journey within 45 days. So within 45 days, he was able to not only complete the solution architect associate syllabus, but he actually joined his company on the 45th day, that was 15th September. So welcome Ashwin to this Hall of Fame, and thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk about your journey. So can you just tell us about your journey before you joined our Cloud Champions community?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. So everything is possible just because of you. So yeah. So actually, I was working as a developer before, and then I was working on the AWS as well from the last 3 years. But I was not sure, like when I'm changing the job, so whether I should go for the AWS things, cloud things, or whether I should be like a developer kind of things. So that's where I stuck a lot. So what actually happens when I have a call with you, one-to-one call actually, and you brief me everything, like how the things works and all these things. So that time I got clear that okay, I want to go for the AWS things rather than going for the development and all these things.
What made you comfortable? Okay, yeah, this is what you're looking for, or yes, you should go for this one. Can you talk about that a short?
Okay, so there are two things actually for me. On the basis of that, I have taken the decision. Okay, I joined this community. I want to join this community. The first and most important thing is mentorship, and the second one is the technical stuff that you are having, the videos and all these things that you are recorded and all these things. So you have given me the demo of that as well. Okay,
Correct.
so these were two things which is like I guess I made the decision within an hour, and I have enrolled for the course in the very next day, and
Correct.
I texted you, yeah, please send me the login details and all these things. So yeah, the first thing was is like I know that mentorship is really is very important. People ignore mentorship. I don't know why they ignore, but for me, mentorship worked before as well, and for when I'm joining with you, it has proved that within the 45 days I'm getting a job into the AWS and all these things. So yeah, so mentorship and the one another thing is the videos that you are having. So both these things are like inspired me to join this course.
Okay, great. So let's move on to next. So after you joined Cloud Champions community, Ashwin, what are the things that impacted or changed you? Would you like to talk a bit on that?
Yeah, so I will be very honest. So I'm a late person. Actually, we are right now recording the call at 2 a.m. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you are also having tomorrow. I'm also having my office tomorrow.
correct.
So yeah, so I'm this kind of person. So actually, what happens? So I remember that you have given me the affirmations and all these things that I need to say before going to sleep, and I need to say before sorry, early in the morning and all these things. So that affirmation helps me a lot because what actually happens is when we start with the affirmation rather than going for the AWS and all these things, that there is a routine in my life after that. Okay, so once I wake up, I need to do this affirmation, and then the other activities that we have discussed on the one-to-one call in the one-to-one sheets and all these things. So that's what I'm going to do. So that helped me to be on the track. So that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, great. So, Ashwin, you have been talking a lot about mentorship. Now, mentorship is not so common, at least in the technical areas. Like you hear about mentorship in management and other spiritual things. So, can you talk us about what is that quick thing that you see value in mentorship in this technical arena? How do you think
Yeah,
mentorship helps?
Yeah, sure. So I don't know about the industry and all these things, but I will share my experience. So what I experienced with you and with this community. So the most important thing over here is, that when a ship is sailing in the ocean, so it is like the ship is going somewhere. Okay, so they are having a destination on all these things. But can you imagine a ship without a compass, a ship without a navigation? So that's what our life is without a mentor. So mentor is really very important. If one is ignoring the mentor, if one is not having a mentor, then he is like a ship sailing a ship without a compass.
That was nice analogy, Ashwin. Yeah, thanks for talking on that mentorship. So with that, we move on to another section where I would specifically voice it out that many people who start their
Sorry.
journey, they have a lot of myths, and this is a special section where I would be questioning you on some myths. So the very first myth that I want to talk about is people. There are people out there, and specifically working IT professionals who believe that I can learn Amazon only if company gives me an opportunity. So right now they are working on a traditional platform like as a production support engineer or as a normal developer and those kind of different platforms, and they are really waiting for that opportunity, for a company to give them opportunity to work on a cloud platform, and that is when they think that they'll start learning cloud. So what do you want to say candidates with such a mindset?
Okay, so there are two things actually. The very first thing is, why do you want to go for the cloud? So it is just because it is a buzzword or something. This is what you need to understand. And the second one is the area of interest. If cloud is actually the area of interest, so how you, but see, there are many people who don't know how to find the area of interest. So let me help you with that. So what actually I do, I'm going to tell you. So see, when you read about AWS, when you read about cloud, so there are a number of services. What these services are doing, these services are solving the problems. Okay. So when we are reading something like S3, S3 is solving this much of big problem. EC2 is solving this problem, and then BPC is like and Athena and all these things are there. Redshift and all these things, the enterprise database. So every services is solving some problem. So when we are just like we have decided to go for the cloud and we are just exploring these services, like watching a video on YouTube, if that is inspiring you, that is something. Oh, Redshift is solving so much of big problem. So yeah, I'm interested how we can work with the Redshift and all these things. So if something is like that, so definitely you can do that. So there is nothing like that. If you are working on the some other areas or something, see, Amazon offers a very great deal for the people who wants to start with the AWS. So they offer a 12 months of free tier. I don't know how many people knows about it, but if you just Google it down, you will get to know. So they offer one EC2 as well, a micro instance that you can run for 750 to 750 hours, and likewise, and they are having some quota for S3 and all these things. So if you really think that okay, so you want to change your branch, sorry, not branch, what we say for that,
Your domain.
you want to shift from one technology to another technology.
Correct.
Sorry, we lost because of internet connection. Yeah. Yes. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. So what I was talking about is, so if you're working in the production, if you're let's say you're a mechanical engineer, let's take an example of that. So see, in my case, I was working on AWS from the last 3 years, so that's a different kind of thing. If you are also having experience, so that's the most interesting things for you. But let's suppose you are a mechanical engineer and you are like, okay, I don't find an interest in mechanical engineer, but because there are so many people over there that they have chosen the mechanical because it is just a buzzword 10 years back or 5 years back or something like that. So I guess many people who are watching this video can relate what I'm trying to say, because this is what actually my friends tells me that. So we have chosen the mechanical just because it was a buzzword 10 years back or 5 years back or something. So over here, what I'm trying to say, if you're a mechanical engineer, but when you're studying or when you're looking for the AWS things and all these things, and if you find that it is interesting, if you find that you can do that, you can do all these things and all these things. So I guess you should start the AWS account. It is free actually, in a free tier. You can do that, and then you just need to add the credit card over there and just try exploring that things. If that excites you, go for it. Go for it. You can find a mentor who are like Cloud Championship and any other as well. So there is there are a number of people over there, but that's how you are going to find your interest, because interest is really very important. See, and when it comes to the mechanical, you might be thinking like, oh, so actually I'm a computer science engineer, so that's a different kind of story. But let's talk about the mechanical only. So let's suppose you are a mechanical engineer and you are thinking that, okay, so but cloud and AWS, these are all the IT guys' jobs and all these things. So let me tell you something. There must be a company who is working in mechanical things and all these things, and in the production or design engineers or something. In upcoming years, they are definitely going to require AWS clouds and all these things. Okay, so what they are looking for, AWS engineers in IT. Now imagine a mechanical guy with a AWS certification and with a very good knowledge of AWS and a little bit of hands-on on labs and all these things, like doing it on his own and all these things. And he approached that company. So that company will be like giving the preference to this guy. The reason for that is he knows how the design engineering works. He knows how the things in the core mechanical works, all these things. So the company don't have to train that IT guys. So you are working on these mechanical things and these IT things, and you are combining this guy is the perfect one. So this is the opportunity that I'm talking about. So whatever the industry that you are into, just bear in my mind that cloud is everywhere. So name any company, every company shifting from the infrastructure to the cloud. So whether it is IBM cloud or Azure or the AWS or GCP. I guess that might have answered your question.
Yeah. So guys, just for people who are still waiting for the companies to hire them and then they start their cloud journey, what Ashwin just voiced out is you can just create your own AWS account and get started with your cloud journey. So that is what he just spoke about. And Ashwin, so this is what I talk about in Cloud Champions community, that solution mindset for a solution architect. So do you think this community helped you in building up that solution mindset?
Yes, definitely. This community has helped me to build a solution mindset, because see, there are n number of things going in our mind. Okay, and we need a direction actually. So I'm more into the mentorship and direction just because this community is more concentrating on mentorship and direction. Because if let's take an example. Someone is depressed or something. He wants to do an AWS, but he's depressed. Let's take an example of that. So this might happen. Okay. So due to some personal issues, due to some work issues or anything. But see, what mentorship do is mentorship helps that guy to overcome that things and how to go for the AWS things and all these things. So that might have also helped this guy.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for explaining that with an example. And talking about another such myth. So people feel that cloud is too difficult to learn. So what is your experience on that?
So those people who are thinking about it, I guess they need to do one thing, that is just open the cloud account, like AWS account, sign up for the AWS, and just go to the S3 bucket. So yeah, we called folder as a bucket over there, and the files as the object over there. Just put some files over there. Just see, you just need to drag the files and drop it over there. I guess if you know how to use Facebook, so the same console they are having over there to use the AWS and all these things. So it is all about how deep not a deep knowledge or something. It is all about how curious or how interested you are to learn about the cloud and all these things.
Correct.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So just to summarize what Ashwin said, guys, is it's instead of making things complex within your brain, within your mind, it's all easy to get just started. So get started with the labs, and that's how you can do it. And I would like to appreciate Ashwin for that, because I could see that hunger in Ashwin. So when I could clearly see that Ashwin, when you joined this community on the very first day, you are very hungry for learning this technology and also trying out things on yourself. So that is what a quick tip for people with this kind of myth. And
one more thing I want to add over here. Yeah, sorry.
Ashwin, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, one more thing I want to add over here is, see, you are watching this video, you will get inspired that I should go for the cloud and I should be like, it is a buzzword in the cloud or something. Just don't go for it. Do one thing, open the AWS account and see how the things works. If you find it is really interesting, then only go for it.
Correct. Right. And with that, I move on to the next myth that I see is most common again. So people believe that they deserve only 20 or 30% of hike, like when they are looking
Okay.
for opportunity. Okay. And while at we at C3, that is Cloud Champions Club, we believe that if you are really working or preparing the way we wanted, like I remember I talked to you and the earlier champions as well. Like if you're grasping the content the way we wanted, you can definitely value yourself, don't degrade yourself, and you can ask for that 50 or 100% hike. Again, that is totally based on how seriously you grasp the content, and I think that is what you already did. So what is your experience on this myth?
Yeah, so actually, I just want to say one thing over here is I got
Yeah.
80% hike. Okay.
Awesome.
And the second thing is, yeah. So second thing that is, if we calculate the variables and all these things, so that goes beyond 100%.
Oh,
So
that's
I guess
awesome.
this is, yeah. And another thing that I want to tell you, I did not pick any counter offer or something. This was my first interview, and the first interview I got 100% hike. So yeah, I guess I don't need to say anything on this. So this might have
That-
answered all the queries that you are having in your mind. Because what people think is, okay, I'll go for the 15% hike, then I will ask the HR for the 30% hike, and I will get another offer, and I will get a counter offer and all these things. Okay, so if you want to go for it, so that's your perspective. But what I think is, if you're really good at something and if you're really committed to something, then 100% hike is what you can ask in AWS at least.
awesome said that,
And,
Ashwin.
uh,
And yes.
And one more thing. So many people will think that okay, my previous experience of IT experience is going to count or not. Yes, definitely it is going to count because if you're working on like a Android applications or something, you know how to call the APIs, you know how to call the webhooks and all these things. Every other things you know. If you're working on some other branches as well, like in the mechanical or engineering, you have spent you have used Jira tickets over there, and you have used another design software like versionings and all these things that we are having in S3. You are having a Katia Pruvia. I don't know much about it. I just heard from my friend that they are also having a versionings and all these things. So there is a relation over there. So if you're like shifting from the one technology to another as well, so definitely the previous experience is going to count and the previous package as well.
Right. I was just trying to voice it out because the common pattern that is seen, that if I'm experienced into some X technology, if I am making a shift in that technology, then the expectation is 20 to 30% as a market standard. But when I'm making a move to some new technology, so let's say cloud, in this case, people are okay with to settle for 15 and 20%. So people, they devalue themselves. This is what I believe that's commonly seen in the pattern, and that's what we try to build a mindset in the community, that no, if you work consistently and you have grasped the content, then definitely you can ask for 50% to 100% of hike. And I believe that worked for you as well, Ashwin. So I'm glad to know that you got that 100% of hike. Congrats to know that, Ashwin.
Thank you so much, sir. This is all possible just because of you. If
Oh no,
if I'm actually, if I'm able to imagine myself without the mentorship model or something, then at this moment at 2 a.m., I guess I'm not recording the video. I might be tense what to do and what not to do, and which technology I should shift, or whether to continue on PHPs and Pythons and all these things. So yeah, so you cleared my mind, you cleared the doubts and every other thing. So totally, I totally give the complete credit to you.
oh no,
Thanks, actually.
thank you
So
so much.
this is not my achievement. This is your achievement, I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, I really feel, because that's what motto of my the Cloud Champions community is. Like, I call your success is my success. So that's what I call it. Okay. So that
Right.
with this mentorship model, I want to ensure that people who has joined it, they flourish out there. It's not that they have joined it like you in a coaching center model, you have this train model, what I call it. So you hire a batch, you train them, and the batch is out. But no one cares whether Ashwin, Rakesh or Ramesh, they got these results or not, whether they got that next job opportunity, or were they able to crack the AWS certification. No one cares, but this is what mattered to me. And I think with this mentorship model and with the candidates like you who actually believed in me and were able to flourish with this kind of opportunities, you prove that this model works. So thank you so much for voicing that out, and thank you so much for believing in me, Ashwin.
One
So
more
all.
thing I want to add over here is, yeah, thank you. One more thing I want to add over here is, See, what actually I like about this community a lot is you're having a Telegram group. We are having a weekly inner circle calls as well. So
Correct.
whenever I'm doing, see, there are 200 of services and no one knows about all the services on this thing. When we are studying, we are like, okay, so what is like creating a VPC or a subnet and all these things over there. So I'm stuck at NACL or security group. I'm not able to understand why we are opening the RDP port or something. So at that time, what I was doing, you might have observed that I was just querying you on the Telegram. So I was stuck over there. I was stuck over there. I think that this might happen. I think that if a project like this came, what should I need to do? Do I need to go for this one or this one something? So the best thing about here is that you can ask doubt anytime, and you're responding in a quick way actually. So that helped me. That cleared my mouth. That cleared the doubts because what I see in the market actually, I'm not going to compare this community with anyone else, but what my experience is, people care about like okay, so I need 10 candidates in this batch, I need 50 candidates in this batch, and once the batch is over, they are like okay. So what is happening with them? So there are few of my friends who has done the AWS courses, but they are like they are nowhere. They have done the courses 1 year back, but still they're nowhere. So the thing over here is like that whatever the one-to-one connection that we got with you, like we can ask the doubt and all these things. So that's what I love a lot because that had cleared my mind. Sorry, that had cleared my doubts.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for voicing that
I
out,
guess we
Ashwin. That
lost you again.
that adds to my feedback. So yeah, thank you so much for voicing it out. So with that, Ashwin, we move on to another myth. So people believe that I should look for job opportunities only after the completion, course completion, because that's what a common mindset that I've seen when people get started with this solution architect associate. So what is your experience with that?
See, as I told you before, there are n number of services. It is not possible to study all these services. Neither you are going to implement all these services in your company. So if you have completed the 50% of course as well, then it's good to like have interview calls and just be honest that whatever you know and whatever you don't know and whatever you are studying and all these things.
Correct. Yeah, that's right, and that is what I speak to people that looking for an opportunity and getting an opportunity is altogether a different game, guys. So while you are not hunting for opportunity, there might be another HR that might be looking for a candidate. So just take your chances, and I believe this is what Ashwin did. So and fortunately landed up with the very first opportunity that he got. So glad to know that, Ashwin. And with that, we move on to next level where I want to you to talk about how this mentorship model has helped you or maybe impacted even the personal aspect of your life. How do you think this has transformed
Okay.
you? Can you
Okay. So
talk
the
about a bit on it?
yes. So the first and most important thing that is I'm clear with my mind that I only want to go with the AWS. So that's the first thing that this community has helped me to figure it out. The second, because as being a developer as well and working on AWS as well, so there are chances that you are getting a calls from PHPs and Pythons and then in AWS and GCPs and all these things. But yeah, so with the when you receive the call from the HR, you are like, okay, I'm getting a good hike in PHP, I'm getting a good hike in Python. So why should we go for the AWS? Why should we go for the why should not we go for the Python and all these things? So you should clear with your mind that okay, I only need to go for this one. That's
Mm-hmm.
the one thing this community has helped me. The second and most important thing that I told before, that is the affirmation things and all these things. So to have a discipline and the routine in my life, this community has helped me. Like the sheet that you have given it to me, and the affirmations and all these things. So that helped me. So the third thing and the most important, which I guess is the most important thing, that is I know that if I'm stuck at something, I can call Sham sir, I can just text them on Telegram and ask them in the inner circle call, okay, I'm stuck over here or whatever, in a personal things or might be in a professional things or whatever. You have helped me in the personal things as well. So in the
Right.
professional things as well. So yeah, so because we people are like, okay, so if someone is standing with us now, so it is like, okay, I feel like okay, my big brother is standing with me, so I don't have to worry about anything. So you are that kind of the person that not only for me but all the people. So I guess other peoples in the community as well, they are also be thinking like, okay, so yeah. So if you are thinking like just you said before this call, that when we have a conversation in the afternoon that someone is stuck at EC2s and all these things, so they texted you and then you replied them to back like, okay, so you need to check with this and all these things, and they figure it out. So how, what to do and what not to do. So that's the third and most important thing. To having a support. So that's what the important thing is. This is the third thing, and the fourth thing is the direction. So the direction that this community has given to me is very valuable because direction is also important. And the fourth one, and that is also actually I'm thinking that all the fourth or 5 points are very important. Okay,
Right.
so the fourth or fifth one which I'm talking to you is like
Right.
the videos that you are having. Okay, so see, to
Right.
cover the syllabus for the AWS Solution Architect course, so we need to study at least 30 to 35 services. Everyone knows about it.
That's
Correct.
correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So the thing over here is like to see uh, when we go for AWS docs or when we read AWS documentation, there are n number of things are over there, and believe me, uh, this n number of things are not we are going to supposed to implement in the our professional life or in career or anywhere on the project that we are using. So
Correct.
we should know about. So when we talk about the S3, so what is the request time and all these things. So the most important points which are needed to be covered while making the decisions or while creating an infrastructure or while working on the projects, that points are covered in the videos. So the videos are having the very high priority with respect to the mentorship as well. Because when you watch the videos on YouTube, so they have covered, you need to do this, you need to do this. So before joining this community, I was watching the videos on YouTube, and believe me, that videos actually confused me a lot to work on this. Someone is like, okay, so the new services just launched, so let's work on that. So let's watch a video of that. So I was also like that. But believe me, that new service is how many companies are going to implement that right now. So there are at least 3 to 5 years or 2 years. So that service is going to roll out all over in the world. So what you need to understand over here is the video help you a lot while what needs to be studied, what not needs to be studied, and what you should remember. And the sixth one is the labs that we are having. So the lab that you have mentioned over the labs mean the practicals, like how to upload the data on the S3 or how to create a VPCs and all these things. So that is outstanding actually, because that labs creates solves the problem. Like those person who did not have any hands-on on AWS and they think that they can do the AWS, but they are not sure just because they don't understand all these options that the AWS is having. These labs are really very helpful for these guys actually. So that's what
Okay.
I want to say.
Yeah, thank you so much for voicing that out, Ashwin. And just to summarize, guys, what Ashwin said, the some few benefits of this mentorship model. What I could make out is, so you were given clarity, then you also got some additional hand holding where you can talk to me and get your doubts clarified. You loved these the videos, and you thought that the content is crisp to the point, so it's not beating in the push. You know what the content is, so it gave you more clarity in the right direction. And one of the things that you said is it also like being in the community with those calls where you can ask your doubts and get more clarity and clear your doubts.
Uh, uh,
That right.
Big brother support. I'm talking in my language actually.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
thank you
that
so
is
much.
what I feel.
Oh no, I mean I appreciate that and acknowledge that. Thank you so much for calling me. I mean giving me that level of appreciation. So yeah, thank you so much, Ashwin. But yeah, I should also say that Ashwin, I could see that you are very content hungry. Like you are ready to grasp. And one thing that I wanted to voice out to all the people watching this is, guys, motivational is highly overrated. Consistency is the key. So Ashwin was very consistent in following up my system that I have built, where he followed all the daily goals, he followed all the weekly goals, and more importantly, he also came to all those weekly inner circle calls. So he was very consistent, and this is what gave him the way or paved him the effort. So this is why he could complete the journey in 45 days. That is the fastest so far I know in this community. So it's all your efforts, and you deserve it, Ashwin. So yeah,
Thank
cheers,
you.
man. At this point, Ashwin, I think I also want you to talk a little bit about your interview, like how confident you were during interview, and how this model helped you. So what was your that phase of facing this interview versus that first version of Ashwin who gave interviews? So I'm not sure when you appeared for the first time, like before you joined this community, but what is that difference that you see in the first version of Ashwin before joining the community and the second version of Ashwin facing the interviews?
Over here, I will repeat the same thing, that when we give interview before this community, so it is something like without having a compass and navigation, so to
Yeah.
talk on a very simple language, and that is like, okay, so interviewer asking me these things, that so job description is having Python, CS, Java, .NET, all these things. So I'm confused now. I only know Python, Java, and all these things. So other things I don't know. The DevOps I don't know. So
Mhm.
that is where that many people have stuck. Okay. So this community has, so I was also stuck. So to be very honest. Okay. So, but I will came to this point after 2 minutes. So I want to share something to answer your question. So
Right.
that's a very interesting thing actually happened with my interview. So actually what happened? So now you guys can relate me like how it works. So I have uploaded my resume on the Naukri.com only on the Naukri.com on the 1st of August. Okay. And unfortunately, I was not well from the 2nd of August. Okay.
Correct.
So no,
Right.
not sorry, August. It's a September.
September. Correct. Yeah, that's September.
Yeah, sorry. My mistake. So it's a September actually. So on 1st of September, I have uploaded the resume on Naukri.com. On the 2nd of September, I'm sick. So whatever the calls I'm receiving from the HRs, from the MNCs and different companies, so I was like, okay, I'm so pissed off with the thing, like the headache and all these things I'm having, that I'm not able to pick the call as well. So
Mhm.
that's kind of viral thing or something, but that has impacted and that has demotivated me a lot. So what I'm going to do, I have just uploaded the resume on the Naukri. But believe me, the company that I have cracked the interview was the first interview that I have given. And I have given that interview, I guess, on the 8th of September. Okay. I was sick from 2nd of September or till 10th or 11th of September, actually. Okay. On the
Mhm.
and the most important thing is from the last 8 days, like from the from the 1st and 2nd of September to the 8th of September, I did not read anything, nothing. So I'm like, so you can imagine that you are just taking tablets and injections and all these things. And how could you remember? Because you are having some chemicals as well in your body,
I get it. Yeah.
all these things. But over here, what helps me a lot. So that is what I want to share. So when I was watching your videos and all these things and then doing the labs and all, so that
Mhm.
time, whenever you are going to speak now, so that has like, it is in a subconscious mind. Okay. So I don't know in a psychological term how it works, but yeah. So whenever I'm answering to the interviewer, so it is something like that you're sitting next to me and you're telling me that this is the answer. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So very simple term that I'm telling you. So
Okay. So
so
you
that
feel like
videos,
I am the answer.
yeah, you are giving the answer in simple
Oh,
term.
okay.
I guess it has shown in the movies of Munna Bhai MBBS or something.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Gandhiji things and all these things over there. So
Yeah,
that
I
had
can.
happened with me. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is because of the chemicals or something, I don't know. But sure, that thing is just because, see, definitely I know one thing, that you're not going to sit over there and tell me the answers. I know
Correct.
that the answers are there present in my mind. I have studied that. Okay. But this kind of support, the kind of big brother support that I have said. So I'm confident enough that I know these things. I'm confident enough that I have worked on that. I have hands-on on that. So
Right.
that helps a lot. And then how that's how I cracked the interview actually. So that's what
Right.
my first interview. And fortunately, the company actually, due to the terms and conditions and all these things, I cannot share the name of the company. So because they are having a very strict rules over there.
That's
So
okay. Yeah.
really sorry for that. But I'll tell you one thing. So the company is really very good, and the project is really very good. It's a product-based company, and I have decided that I don't want to go for the service-based company. And I did not appear for any interview. Neither I have wasted time of any technical HR or something to go for a counter offer or something, because I know what I was looking for. I got in a first attempt. So that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's nice. Nicely put, Ashwin. Because what people look for is mostly the the kind of offer and those kind of things, but something that you need to keep in mind also is the project that people do not talk about. So I'm glad that we were able to talk on the project and grab this one. So yeah, again, congratulations on that as well, Ashwin.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Ashwin, since you in last few questions, I think you talked a lot about my videos. So can I ask you on that? So how if I talk to you about one or two things, how would you differentiate my videos as compared to all the material out there? Like what is that you see additional in these videos? Like people, so because when I talk to people have this mindset that okay, it's going to be another YouTube or another kind of recording video. But I know what I have put in those videos. What is your key takeaway of these videos? Are you finding it the same way the other videos, or how would you differentiate, or what is the value that you found in this versus the other videos that the paid or free resources offer?
Right. So to answer this, I want to put one scenario because I actually love to give examples and scenarios. And
Right.
okay. So let's imagine that you are having a document of 200 pages. So, and that document is containing information. Now you are having, you are like, you want to remember the things and you have to work on that things on that documents. Okay. So that document is of 200 pages. Do you think that you can recall all these things that written on the 200 pages, that to a technical things and all these things? No one can. There might be few people and they are great actually, but for me at least, I'm not. So to be very honest. So
Correct.
how the videos help actually, I know that for to record those videos, you might have required lots of time because in that 200 pages of documentation, whatever. So we will relate it to the AWS doc actually, the AWS documentation that we are having. So that is a really a very lengthy document, and they are consisting a very deep knowledge of all these things like this. So
That's
we
correct.
are like not always implement that things, but when we stuck at that thing, we can go and refer the documentation. But over the videos, you have mentioned the very key and important points, which are the must when we know about the service, when we go for the AWS Solution Architect exam, and we go for any job interviews. So I guess when we compare these videos with the YouTube videos or something, they don't have these kind of things. Okay. So they are like, okay, so we have to do this, we have to do this, and we have to do that. But over here, whatever the point that you have mentioned over there, and whatever the things, like it is something like the every second that you are speaking on the video is really very important. The another thing that I want to add is, see, still there are 30 to 35 services that we have to study for the AWS Solution Architect exam, and the
Right.
syllabus is huge, to be very honest. Okay, no fake thing is over there, but to be very honest, the syllabus is really very huge. Okay, so now to cover this much huge syllabus with see, okay, we have made that 200 pages of document into the 20 pages of document, but still this 20 pages are really very tough to read and all these things because they are like, if we missed any point out of over there, so we have missed a very big thing. Okay, so for that, the mind map that you are having in each section, like AWS, S3, IAM, and all these things, and in the deep, like you explain, like how the IAM policies structure works and all these things. So
Mhm.
that's how we can recall on the things. Because see, our mind works something like this. When we read something, when we do the lab, when we have practical or something, or when we do any task in the company as well. Okay, so we can't remember that in a very first stage. Sorry, in a very first attempt. So when we do it again and again, at least for 3 times, then only we are like, okay, we are good to go. And sometimes we create a cheat sheet as well. Okay, so over here, that mind map is nothing but kind of a cheat sheet that you can refer, and you can you can read the complete section within a 10 minutes, and you are like,
Right.
you are good to go with it. So that mind
Right.
map also helped me a lot.
Okay. Yeah. So what I could summarize is you are saying that these videos are to the point, and one which I would like to summarize for the viewers here is instead of having those 200 sliders, what I've compressed this entire content is to 18 to 22 slides, mind maps, what I call it. So no beating in the bush. You have everything to the point in those 22 PDFs. Okay. You don't have to refer. Any hundreds or 200 slides for that preparation of solution architect. This ensures that you can appear for any interview that you have next day, or any interview or the solution architect associate exam. So within mere you can say 4 hours, matter of 4 hours, you will be able to revise the entire syllabus. So yeah, thank you so much for voicing that out again, Ashwin. Ashwin, at this point also, want to talk about, so we had this one-to-one call at the start. That's what I say is backbone of my system. So I remember we started with this one-to-one call, and then we had the strategy sheet. So how effective or helpful do you think that was to you?
I remember that a lot because I was asking you to send the logins and you were like, without the one-to-one call, not going to send you the login details. Whether you paid or not, that doesn't matter. So yeah,
Correct.
that is the reason I remember that. So yeah, the one-to-one sheet is really very important because the thing is like you have uh, properly put all the things together in one sheet over there in an Excel sheet, like whether we have done this thing, whether we have done these things or not. So what is the remark for that, and what is the priority for that, and at what stage? Sorry. So at what date we should complete these things and not, and all these things, AWS Lambda and every other thing is there. So everything you are written in a very good manner, and I'm like, so that is the Bible for me, I would be saying, because
Okay.
when I start, yeah. So whenever I'm studying for the exam AWS Solution Architect, so I'm first opening this Bible, looking into it where I am. So see, this Bible is going to tell me that okay, I'm over here, and see, actually, what happened? To be very honest, what happened in the first 3 to 4 days? It was really okay, but when we do anything, sorry, when we do something for a few days or something, we lost the motivation. Okay,
Right.
that happens with me as well. I'm not some unique guy or something. I'm just a normal person. So that happened with me. But when I'm going to look into this one-to-one sheet that I called a Bible, the reason why I called a Bible, that showed me that Ashwin, your productivity has decreased and you must complete this. And it is like that sheet is telling me everything. That sheet is talking to me. Okay, so you have to be like on this date, you have to be like on this chapter or on this thing. So because as you plan for the exam on this date, so that's need to be covered over here. Because see, I don't know about others, but for me, I only worked deadline is there, and I had to complete that before a deadline. Okay, so that's how the mind works actually. I guess for most of the people. So that sheet is like that sheet is literally speaking like, okay, so these are the things that you need to cover this week. These are the things that you need to cover this week. These are the things that you need to cover another week. So that is so much sorted that I don't have to use my brain. And where I'm using my brain, that is to explore more on AWS, to explore more on services. So that mind map is there, that videos is there, and that one-to-one sheet. So believe me, I don't know how you got an idea to build that one-to-one sheet, but that's really very nice.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for mentioning that, Ashwin. And like you correctly said, there is a reason to it. So I did not give you access to this course because I wanted people to consume, like there's a way to consume this course. I don't want people to watch this videos like a movie. So there is a way to consume this course, and people should be aware of the system. And again, I want people to be aware of the resources. Like you should be aware of your daily goals, the weekly goals, and again the affirmations that I talk about. How do you reward yourself when you achieve those goals? And more importantly, inner circle calls. So you have to be disciplined on inner circle call as well. So that's why I never give access, and I'm glad that you are able to follow this and see that value in this sheet. And definitely that's why I also call this as a backbone. So thank you so much again for sharing your experience on that. Can at this point, Ashwin, can you also talk a little bit of our about our inner circle call? So we have this weekly inner circle call where we burst all the mindset barriers, and we also burst the technical blockers for that week, whatever wherever you are stuck at. So how effective do you think these inner circle calls were for you?
Yeah, in the inner circle calls, I'm like, so we have a Telegram group to ask the questions, obviously. But when we are into the inner circle call on the Zoom, so it is like someone else is also asking the questions. Okay. And I can also ask some questions that I think that you must answer by yourself, and you must explain these things to me. So let's suppose there is a one topic called S3, and there is a glacier deep archive is there, and I'm not able to understand why the glacier deep archive is there, glacier is there. So you are explaining that in an inner circle call to me. Or let's
Correct.
suppose someone else is asking the question. So that is what the brush up is. It is kind of brush up things, and it is kind of doubt clearing session, I would be saying. So that is very important. So one mind map, one-to-one sheet, this inner circle call. So I'm combining all these things together.
Okay, yeah, definitely, and thanks for mentioning that as well, because you know the reason I used to ask you to talk about that in the inner circle calls was because maybe it's not your question, it might be a question of others, but when I'm explaining to that one person, you might feel okay, even you did not have that question, but it got answered for yourself as well, and maybe you did not
Right.
think from that perspective. So yeah, this helps, like answering it for one is answer to all kind of thing. So yeah,
Right.
thanks for that. And so tell us about your struggles or your failures when you went through this interview process. Anything that we want to mention about this interview process?
Okay, so one thing that I really wanted to mention, and many people who are watching this video might face the same thing. So see, I have got some blockers. That is
Right.
on 3rd or 4th of September when I was getting some calls and the interview was scheduled for the week and all. So the blockers are like when you go for the just go for the Naukri.com and search for the positions and all these things, you will find that they require C hash, Java, .NET, S3, Terraform, and so many technologies. And
Correct.
but do you really think that a person would be having a very good knowledge on all these technologies? I don't think that's possible. If somebody is having, so he's a really a very brilliant one, and I should learn from him. I guess. So the thing is what I got stuck over there. I was demotivated. Like okay, I don't know C hash and I don't know Java. I'm a Python kind of guy. I am kind of PHP kind of guy who goes for the open source and all these things. So I guess you remember that I texted you on
Yeah.
WhatsApp. So that
Yeah.
I stuck over there. That I don't know what to do and what not to do. There are so many things. So you only like answered me like okay. So don't go for it's because see what my mindset is and what mistake that other people also do, and that what I was about to do. That is that we are like I'm like. Uh, Learning the DevOps tools actually because
Correct.
many tools over there I don't know to be very honest. Okay, so you told me only that see whatever you know, just in the interview talk only about that. If you don't know anything, just say I don't know, but I'm ready to learn. And yeah, actually I'm ready to learn for that because see in the previous project we did not get a chance. So
Right.
what we can do for it? Nothing. But if someone is giving us the chance and we are really hungry for the knowledge, then definitely we can learn that. So the most important thing that to answer it very short, draw the boundaries. So the
Right.
things that you know, just speak on that and be honest because when you join the company, you will get a time to learn the things.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that. And just to summarize for all the viewers out here, what Ashwin is trying to say here is, so this goes to all the viewers who get so overwhelmed with all these new technologies. Like you have, already you have got cloud thing to learn, so many services, but then you have this Docker, AWS, Docker, Kubernetes, Python, and all those different tools to overwhelm you. So here's a piece of advice. What you need to do is, when you go for that interview or when you have that interview scheduled right there tomorrow itself, right? So don't get overwhelmed or try to mug up those technologies in a day. Make sure you draw the boundaries of what you know and what you don't know. So take a chance to be open enough, transparent enough to talk to your interviewer. Tell him that, okay, this is what I have prepared, this I have worked on my own thing, and definitely if you can do this, if I can do this on my own, I can learn the other tools as well, which you might require me to work on. So thank you so much for again expressing over that, Ashwin. With that, we are approaching to the end of our thing, our module here. uh, but I want to quickly talk about, so Ashwin, how would you summarize your entire this journey? Like, if there is one key advice that I want you to give to our viewers, like who are at the fence of starting their cloud journey, what would be that one piece of advice or key advice uh, for them?
Okay, so one key advice that I want to give is you first figure out what exactly you need to do, whether to go for the AWS or whether you don't go for the AWS, and choose the right mentor. Because if you're choosing the right mentor, see, I actually because of the COVID, we have this opportunity that we can join the Cloud Champions Club. Otherwise, there might be some classroom, and I might have wasted the money and all these things over there, and I might have like. I don't know where I am right now. So where I was right now, sorry. So yeah, so that was the thing. So one advice that I want to give you is So see, figure it out, see how it works, try it out. If you feel that is interesting, go for it.
Great, Ashwin. So, yeah, thank you so much for that piece of advice, Ashwin. And at this point, I would just want you to talk a little bit on choosing that project. So I remember, the last time when you called me before you could finalize this project. Can you talk a little bit on what was going into your mind before you accepted this project, and how did this mentorship model help you? Just because with that mentorship model, that reminded me of this thing.
Okay, sure. So when I got this offer, okay, so okay, I can share the industry actually. So that's into the healthcare, and I
Right.
don't know much about healthcare. Okay, so I was very confused actually in the start, but the mistake that I'm about to make, that is like I did not search over the Google. I did not search and I did not Google what the company do and what not and all these things. So I just know the website and I just know all these things over there. But then I guess that day as well we had a call on Zoom at 1 a.m. something that to discuss all these things. Okay, so I had a call with you, and then you explained me that okay, so these are the 3 to 4 things that you need to understand over here, and on only these 3 things you have to make the decisions. Okay, so we have explored. You have actually explored these all these 3 things really very well. Okay, and that answered all the questions that I'm having. The rest of the questions that I we did not have answered, that answered later by some other person, calling to the managers and all these things. So over there, then I'm like, "Yeah, okay, so this is the brilliant project that I'm getting. So I feel like I'm very lucky to have this kind of opportunity. If
Oh, yes.
otherwise, I might be working on some service-based company for some projects and then shifting to another projects. But over here, the project it is so different and it is so brilliant. Yeah, so that is the thing over there. So that inspires me every day to work on it, and that is what possible because when I discussed this thing with you, so you cleared my mind and all these things. So yeah, really thanks to you for that as well.
Oh no, thanks to you as well, Ashwin, because the fact that you were so open to me, you were so transparent, the fact that you sought help, that you asked for help is what changed the things for you, I would say. Like people, they do not ask for help, and that's where they make wrong decisions. But you were so transparent, and I think you used all the resources well. You were consistent on my daily goals, weekly goals, inner circle call, and also you sought all the kind of help that you could get. So thank you so much for allowing me to help you and also bringing out or crafting out the cloud champion in you. So thank you so much, Ashwin. And I know I also need to still work with you because you are done with the job, but I still want to work with you on cracking this solution architect certification, Ashwin.
Yeah. One quick thing that I want to add over here.
Sure. Yeah, Ashwin.
Yeah. So how effective the inner circle call is? Yeah. Sorry, I just recall that.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, you tell me that whenever interviewer asks you do you have any questions or something, just ask whatever the doubts that you are having, or whatever the things that you are having. Or if you don't have any question, just ask what is the job role or something. So as I was sick, I just came from the hospital at the 4 o'clock, and the interview was scheduled at 4 o'clock. So
Mm-hmm.
I was totally blank, and I don't know what to ask or something. So I asked the interviewer that what is my job role, and he
Okay.
explained me in a very beautiful way. So that is kindness actually. But when he was trying to explain, so that's the thing. I guess he made the decision to hire me. So that this is the question that is having a 80% impact. This looks like okay. So what is your job role? This is kind of question or not? Oh no, this is not a question. But the most important thing is this question can literally change the cards side. So what do you say for that? I'm not able to have words for that, but
Right.
yeah, side of dice or something, you can say. This question can change the entire thing that is having, because this shows the keenness, the interest that you are having, and all these things. So and I get to know this about just because we are having the inner circle call. I have
Correct.
consistently joined all the inner circle calls, I guess. I just missed the first one, but yeah. So thanks to you for this as well.
No, my pleasure. And thank you so much for mentioning each and every those things in details, because this is what helps me in ensuring, okay, these things work. So for viewers who are watching this, I'm just trying to say that, what Ashwin is trying to say here is, in our inner circle call, we discuss this thing, that the icebreaker, the most common icebreaker questions are, the first thing is, tell me about yourself. And the last question is, any questions. These are the questions which people take casually and they don't answer well. And I think this is what I spoke about in one of the inner circle calls. But the best thing, Ashwin, that you implemented it. So actually, Ashwin used the last question, that, what is my job role? This gave him more clarity about the role that he was working on, and cleared his assumptions of whatever his thoughts were about, and made him confident enough that, okay, this is the actual role that he's looking for, and how this project would help him grow in the coming future. So that is something, Ashwin is trying to voice out. But thank you so much, Ashwin, for talking about each of your little experiences, because that confirms me, okay, this is working. And it also helps me understand how each and every small little thing can change the direction, leading to a wonderful destination where you are right now. So thank you so much, Ashwin, talking about this your entire journey. It was nice having you on this call, and thank you so much for spending so much time with us. At this point, I would just like to summarize the entire model for my viewers here. So this is a result oriented approach model, where I work with you to help you become a cloud champion. So this is what I call as ROA approach, result oriented approach. And yes, your success is my success. So for people who are looking forward to Cloud Champions community, please subscribe to this channel. Join us on different social media platforms mentioned in the comment box. And yes, if you are really looking forward to start your cloud journey but not sure how to, please join us on the weekend workshop. That is what I call as the 5-day Cloud Champion Challenge. Join us, take your experiences of what this mentorship model is about, and then you can, at the end of 5th day on this Cloud Champions journey, I would disclose how you can go for the 30-day or 60-day challenge. So if you are really looking forward to start your cloud journey, just register yourself on the link below in the comment box, and I will see you in the Sunday live session. So thank you so much again, Ashwin. And yes, I am looking forward to. Yes, Ashwin, any last words before?
Please continue, then I'll speak.
Oh yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us, for listening to us, and thank you so much for your time, Ashwin. I'll look forward to see more cloud champions in the community, and best wishes for your future endeavors, Ashwin. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.